Good morning, Facebook family and friends and YouTube subscribers. Today is Monday. It is March 2nd, 2015. This year is flying by pretty quickly. We're 2 months into 2015. The weather's still a little chilly here in Atlanta. It's 48 degrees outside. We went through a weekend. It was raining earlier, but now the weather is clear. I get so frustrated arguing with people on Facebook and YouTube about sexuality. A lot of people seem to think that being gay is a choice. They scream and holler, it's a choice. There is a gay agenda out to make people gay. All kinds of false, fake lies are spread about sexuality in our community, and it saddens me. It's terrible to think that people choose to be gay. I am 45 years of age. I've known I was gay pretty much all my life. I knew at 5 years of age I was different than the other kids in preschool. And as I got older, I grew to realize that I had an attraction to the other boys in my classes. And as I got older and started reading encyclopedias, my father had all these encyclopedias there. Back in the 70s, in my household, we got new encyclopedias every few years. And I started reading up on homosexuality and gay, and it became clear to me before I was even in the 4th grade that I was gay. So I knew what it was. And don't forget I was Jehovah's Witness, so they were preaching against homosexuals. So I knew what it was. I had a clear understanding of who I was. I knew I was a young, black kid in Gary, Indiana, who was gay. I knew. Some people say, how could you know such a thing? How could you know at such an early age that this was possible? I knew in preschool something was not right. And as I got older, and so this is an important thing that you all have to understand. I know how to read and write. I've known how to read and write since I was a little itty-bitty kid. I had 2 parents who made sure that their children knew how to read and write. My father was illiterate. He could not read nor write. But he made sure his children, all 7 of us, can read and write very well. So I understood that I knew how to read encyclopedias. I loved reading encyclopedias back then. I was always just a nerdy type kid who enjoyed education. And I loved reading. And reading it just took me away from the world that we lived in. I was in Gary, Indiana. What else was there to do in the wintertime but sit and read books all day? Go outside in the snow and ice and cold all winter long. I do not miss people who still live up north. God bless y'all, because I couldn't do it. I'm living down. We didn't get any snow this year. Not at least in Atlanta. The city of Atlanta didn't get any snow. Thank goodness. Last year we got a little bit of snow. This year 0. I like that. But anyway, I knew I was gay when I was a little kid. People are born gay, and every time you tell black folks, when you tell black people that people are born gay, they go insane. They literally flip their minds. They go in, they go really just off. And I get all these emails and text messages and phone calls from all these ignorant black folks. It is a damn shame how ignorant it's sad. It's very sad how ignorant we are about sexuality. It is not a choice. There is no gay agenda out making people gay. This is the craziest shit I've ever heard in my entire life. My mother had 7 children. I'm the only person that's gay out of those 7 kids. I grew up in a household with a mother and a father who was there. Either my mother was there or my father was there. I grew up in a normal black household. There was no environment growing gay children on Tennessee Street where we grew up at. I didn't know anyone gay. There were no homosexuals running around. We were in church from sunup to sundown as Jehovah's Witnesses all day, Sunday, Thursday, Tuesday, Saturday, field service. studying the Bible. Waste of time. But that was my mother's choice. And if I wasn't with my mother, I was with my father, fishing, hunting. He had this massive garden that we had. I'm talking, my father, I call it a garden, but he had a field. In Gary, Indiana, that was acres. And me and my brother had to go out there and work in this field, and my cousins. And we were out there all day long. And then, of course, we had to deliver newspapers, shovel snow, rake leaves if we wanted some money. They didn't give us what do these kids get from their parents? I forget the name of it. They get these, I'm old. We didn't get that. We had to earn money. My mother and father just did not walk through the door and say, here's some cash for you. That didn't happen. You had to earn it. We had to go out and rake leaves and shovel snow and cut, bushes and deliver newspapers. We had all these paper routes. We had to deliver all these newspapers. But in the midst of all that, being a kid, growing up in Gary, I knew I was gay. I knew. It was not that complicated to understand. It was something that I knew since I was a little kid what was taking place in my mind. I knew. And my father, I told him, he knew. My brothers and sisters, they knew. Everybody knew. It wasn't no big deal. It was kind of like no, we won't say nothing. But so it wasn't a shock to people when I finally came out publicly in high school. They knew. Everybody knew. Now, my mother used to sit back, and she's very perplexed about everything. Her memory is not as good as it used to be. But I remember certain issues that took place, and now she tries to. My mother, she's a Christian. Christians have a tendency to put certain things in behind them and pretend they don't exist. Love her with all my heart, but she is a Christian, so I did some videos with her. I need to go watch the videos with her. But she has a tendency to put things behind. But she now admits that she knew something wasn't right, but she didn't know what it was. Right. So, but it's dishonest to lie to people and say that sexuality is a choice. I am a black man. I did not choose to be black. I was born black. This was not a choice for me. No one chooses to be black. No one chooses to be white. No one chooses to be Hispanic. These are choices you don't make. This is just how you were born. I didn't choose to be gay. But I was born gay. And here's the interesting part. I talked to thousands and thousands and thousands of gay people, and I've all for the past 30 years. And I have yet had anyone say, I woke up on Tuesday morning and decided I'm going to be gay. Never. And I've never heard a straight person say, I got up that Saturday morning, I just wasn't, I decided I'm going to be straight. It doesn't work that way. Sexuality is determined at birth. How complicated can that be? But for black folks, especially religious black folks, they get so caught up in the myth of religion, the falseness of religion, but they don't want to deal with the real world. So I don't like religious people because their minds, their ears, everything's closed. They have these blinders on and they can't see nothing and they don't understand anything. If it's in the Bible, that's what they go by. But you can't live in the real world going by a myth. The Bible is fiction. It is false. It is not real. But you never get through to most Christian people or Muslims or whatever religious books they believe in. You won't get through to them because they believe that stuff is real. But it is not. That's a whole other video though. People are born gay. There is no gay agenda. I am 45 years of age. I have yet been invited to any gay agenda classes, seminars, conventions. They don't exist. They don't exist. That's false. People are born gay and there is no gay agenda. Just simple, easy. I know a lot of people a lot of y'all's ears went off. eyes shut. Everything just communication. When people say they're born gay, everything just goes dead. It's like but people are born gay. I was born gay. It was not. Being gay was never a choice for me and any other gay person I know. Anyway, it is time for me to get dressed and get ready to go deal with the real world. If you like my videos, please click like, share them with family, members, friends, and enemies. I'm out of here. Enjoy your Monday. Stay warm. And I look forward to reading your comments. Bye.